information. And what you see different here is in FISC 17, the expiration of our renewal levy or emergency levy and the hopes for it to renew would continue to bring this amount of, this is half a year collection, this is the full year, and this is a cumulative of the 2 years, because they're not showing up here in the revenues at the top. They will not show up here until the community does pass those, and here's our bottom line. For the 5 years, this is where we pan out. For those of you who like pictures that are much easier to read, what I provided for your review, the 3 line items that are based on the district's value. The general property tax, the tangible property tax, rollback, and homestead. What do you see there? You see in the red bar graph, part of the bar graph, actual years, and the projected years are represented in blue. General property tax, passage of a levy, bumped it up to here for a half a year and a full year collection put it here. It's anticipated in real estate that with general property tax we will get about the same. Oh my goodness. This assumes the passage of that renewal levy, which is what we are collecting in these years. Tangible taxes, again, are moderate increase, slight increase, but will stay flat. Rollback and homestead, this was the phase out of the hold us harmless money. And you see it dropping and then leveling out to stay exactly where it was with Governor Kasich's phase out of the accelerated taxes. There's more information about that in that forward assumptions. So if you really have trouble sleeping, go ahead and peruse them. I'm sure they'll give you a nice comforting sleep. And then the state aid. Our state funds us unrestricted money and restricted money. Again, the red is the actual years, the blue is projected years in both categories. Other revenue, red is actual, blue is what's trended on the forecast. Here's our transfers and advances and what's trended on the forecast and what we expect. Most of the assumptions and most of these are to provide the board a reasonableness to the numbers, and this forecast is used as management's tools to help plan. The projectives are conservative in nature, and here are our expenditures, again, based on the assumptions with some of the highlights given to you. To read the full assumptions, again, the Word document attached to the forecast is very critical to understand what's happening in the blue bar graphs, which are projected years, and what happened in the red bar graphs, which are actual years. Salaries, benefits, purchase service, supplies. Equipment is capital outlay, other expenses, transfer and advances, and the general fund debt service payments that are amortized and presented here. And that concludes my portion of the forecast. Are there any questions?
Thank you for your work. Yeah, Catherine, this in this page here, this is the 2013 action.
What page? I'm sorry.
On all these columns here on the worksheet, these are the actions.
Yes. Yes. So it's the same numbers over here. I can't answer you that. Well, no, we're not. I'll have to, Well, this is based on another report. This may not be accurate. This is what's actual right there.
Last forecast, though, you said that number 2.
I really wish you would have called me. I don't have anything with me. I'll have to check that tomorrow. I'll have to check that tomorrow and get that.
We have to check this. This is $1 million here.
Well, you should have called me. It's due by October 31st. I can't answer that. I don't know.
I have it. Yeah.
It was sent to you a week ago, and it was,
But I was going through the forecast, I wasn't going through the 2013 actual. The 2013 actual is off by $1 million on the revenue side. I don't know.
I don't have anything with me, so I can't
What we're
answer
saying
that.
here is off. I mean, you're good at that.
The paperwork you need to get and the answer you need to get, she can give you tomorrow. But, Fred, do you have any questions?
I had one back on that, another one. When you talk about 10% on the benefits increase
Yeah.
every year, is that a standard practice that, because look at the last 3 or 4 years, how they track.
Yeah.
Do we know how they track the last 3 or 4 years?
Yeah,
10%. I
well,
know it's a conservative number, and I get that, but I was curious, when did they track like the last 3 years? And then I know we project full premium, full 12 months, but over the last 3 or 4 years, I know we had premium holidays almost every year. I'm just curious, what did we track the last 3 or 4 years on the average benefit increases? It has been 10% at all.
this year was 4.5, last year was 5. The couple years before that, 9.8, 9.7, 9.1, I believe. And when I trend those, or when I use those, the Stark County COG that we're part of the consortium with, they actually predict for us. They tell us to.
That's what I was asking you, is that's they telling you to budget
Yes.
10% per year?
Yes, they did. They gave us a increase this year of 4.5%, and in their letter asked us to project 10% for future years.
Have we ever looked at going outside the COG and see what the costs are on our own? See how they compare?
Warehouse side.
I'm assuming the cloud level is better than inside the COG.
I've only been in since '07, not since I've been here. My understanding is that
That's what's really helping.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, we're building this in with a $2 million increase, that's about $1 million a month.
Right. It's significant changes next year.
That's the change next year.
Right,
And that we're showing is without the holiday.
right.
So that's the most conservative way.
Because we have a 3-month holiday.
I mean, right now, this is a major issue. This is, I mean, that goes, just bounce off here. And we bounce, I don't know what the every balance is. I don't know, if this goes out to projection and the balance out here, it multiplies. And the last projection we have is 3.3, and we're saying we came in at 3.3293, so that's not 3.3. 3.3.
yeah. If there's an error in what we actually received and FIS 13 doesn't have the right number there, I will correct it, and it's not going to affect the future years.
But if it affects, no, it does affect the future years. Okay, let me just, I want to.
The future years in real estate are based on the value, not the actual money.
Let me explain so everyone knows what's going on here, okay? Fiscal year on the one document here, which is the worksheet, adds up for the actual, for fiscal year 2013 adds up to $33,293,602. Okay? Prior forecast, we had 33 million, I just have the face sheet here, 33,300,000.
I can't answer anything.
Yeah.
So it's the same number. But when I go to, if you bring that back up, what you have for the 2013 actual, and this says this is actual, and it goes over to the next column, and all the individual months add, but it goes over to the next column, it goes to 32,293,000. Instead of 33,293, it goes to 32,293. It looks like there's $1 million. That affects the ending balance, line 7.02, so that would be 21,911,000 rather than 20, I don't know what number is right. That would be 20, our ending balance is at 21,911,000 instead of 20,911,000. I mean, I was looking at, the forecast, not the actual, So what is the actual? I have it, if you're interested.
I have one.
Well, it would have been, if you would have contacted me earlier, I could have checked into that and seen if there was a typo. It's likely there's a typo, and in the actual years, what you're looking at is pulled from a different source that was populated a while back, and actually probably not since March or April,
But
and
when we did the May forecast, we supposedly had actual up to there too. It was saying 3.3 million, there's $1 million of revenue off, something.
well, I would have
I
to,
mean, we need to
again,
go
I'll
back.
have to go back and look.
We need to look at this, we need to understand this.
Yes, and what I can tell you, I do know we did get in delinquencies for last fiscal year, which I just, I'll have to get back to you tomorrow. And all I can say is I will fix it. If it's incorrect, I will fix actual, and
I don't know what you're I'll go back and get my last forecast.
the last forecast was a projection of what we were going to
On
get.
the revenue side, I believe it was actual, what we had on there. I'll go back and look. In fact, I'm going to find that we can pull it up.
You can pull the May
I can pull up,
forecast.
yeah, what we voted on. the
May was
forecast.
a forecast.
Right. The May forecast.
Again, I can't answer any of these questions, I don't have any data with me. So,
Stuff that should have been passed before, I think.
Yeah, it would
disagree.
certainly-
There's a difference, we have to be sure what's, get it right.
Well-
If there is $1 million typo, we need to get it right.
right, and I will, I will.
I agree with you, we gotta, whatever it is, this typo, we gotta fix it.
Of course, had that been brought to my attention before, now I would have been able to double check that and get back to you on that.
So I'm gonna make a motion to accept the 5-year forecast, provided she gets information tomorrow, and if it,
Well, it's due October 31st. Will we have a special meeting then?
Yes, we'll have to have a special meeting, but
Well, I believe if the board can approve it, if it's revised as well.
and change it.
Yeah.
And when we find out if that is a typo,
Right.
documentation can't be done here.
And if it's a typo coming into the new year, it's pretty old.
probably doesn't have experience.
And that would
6
flow,
years.
and that would flow through the whole thing.
Instead of all that, it is, I agree.
Yes.
Because the addition comes out, and we were at 3.3 million, and all of a sudden we're at 32.3 million. I would think your last revenue would be off. The forecast is due.
Have something on the specific 1 billion,
Well,
sounds like a typo.
First
That's
of
what I'm
all,
saying. If that's it, that $1 million's it, then that means that this forecast is off 1,000,000 and £8,000 at the end. It should be 21.9 instead.
Well, it's still, yeah.
Why can't you call me? You've had this for a week, why can't you call me? Or just make me fun. And there could be a typo in there.
I'm not a big,
So,
can't do this. Well,
You can approve.
You can
it,
approve-
Provided a revision
Yeah, you-
of that.
you can approve the forecast, and I can correct it.
What it does, when this is all carried through
We
here,
understand all that, but if it's a perfect million, it's not a start.
it is a start point.
It just makes everything else look better. You can approve the forecast, and if it needs revised, it was a draft up until 5 o'clock this afternoon. And when I finalized it, it can be approved, and I can revise it and send you what the actual is, and you can, that will be what's reflected as approved.
I like to see the action before. I want to know which way this million is going first.
So are you gonna not
Before we
approve
vote
it?
on it, yeah, before we vote on it, I don't think you, I mean, you're gonna vote how you're gonna vote, not like I'm gonna vote. I'm sorry.
Well, this is actually submitted by what, Wednesday, any day Wednesday?
Well, it has to be reviewed by 31st is the deadline, but we have to give the A-site some time to put it there. So, we're at the end, last couple days. But if you want to pull together a meeting tomorrow, or Wednesday, or do Thursday to the state, and
Why don't you meet tomorrow? Why don't you fix it? Fix the typo, and we'll hold off till tomorrow. We'll get it out this morning.
Or a motion and provided that it's fixed and at least the
Got to be
budget's
before
approved.
5 o'clock.
The 5-year forecast will be approved, she'll fix it, and she'll send it as the
so
revision, as a copy.
can you meet at noon, or what? What are you thinking?
We'll do it Wednesday.
I just need 3.
You're gonna do my funding for you do noon tomorrow?
No? Yeah. I mean, it's gotta be done. I mean, we're gonna find out what.
Well, she can do it in the morning.
And I'll pull up the prior forecast and see what those actuals are.
Prior forecast was forecasted.
Yeah, we do
If I
5 o'clock.
remember, come May, when I'm looking at this here, I'm looking at.
Providing we pass the forecast, we alleviate the meeting, and she will correct it and send it in as corrected.
When I'm looking at this here, they're pretty much had, in April, we had May, and I'm pretty sure we had actuals all the way down through here. And I don't think this was off $1 million. We had actuals from March, we had actuals here. I don't think this last one was off $1 million.
Well,
Forecast and move on to the correction.
Yeah, you can approve it, and I can send you the
Like
correct.
usually when you come into May, you have the end of May, you've got the
What's this
forecast.
one?
It's
It's
like $1
typo,
million.
and it's corrected, and you fix it. Yeah.
It's the same thing with the one.
I don't know what company we do 5 o'clock, we give you 5, and her fix it tomorrow.
Okay, let's move on.
Do it then.
5,
5?
I can't be.
for the central office.
I can't be there 5 tomorrow. You guys have, you guys have things. I can't do 5 o'clock tomorrow, but you don't need me there, I guess.
We do it on Wednesday.
I don't know if Ian would have enough time to submit it in time.
You don't want to approve the forecast and then make it changes as she sends it. figure out a time, it's your ballgame, figure out a time.
Either one of those. She can change. Get back to month of noon, that's what we want to do.
Noon tomorrow's great.
Anyone else?
Noon?
Noon is fine.
Tomorrow, we'll be ready to noon tomorrow?
Okay.
Do it at the office, at the office.
Central office noon.
Okay. Make a motion to accept the minutes from
Yeah, so,
That work?
yeah. We'll send those out.
We can't do it.
Well, we just need three, and they have also, we have three people, one that'll work.
Here,
So,
noon.
we're pulling the forecast off tonight, might as well start with that.
Can't do it.
At noon?
One, two, three. I can do that. I'll put it to work. You gonna be there, Ron?
Get it to change as soon as you can in the morning after the hour.
Sure. Got it. So that's taken off the agenda, just take it off. Right. I didn't get board docs up there. Do you need board docs? No, we can
Make a motion to approve the minutes from September 16th and September 23rd, both of 2013. So moved. Moved by Mrs. Wright, seconded by Mr. Spangler, roll call.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler. Mrs. Wright. Mr. Armstrong.
No.
Mr. Bonacci. You already did it.
We did.
We're looking powers, okay, got it.
Moving on to the treasurer's report, please.
Okay, under financial reports for September, I'd like to recommend that the Board of Education approve the financial report for September 2013 as presented in Exhibit Number 1.
So moved. By Mrs. Wright, seconded by Mr. Spangler, roll call.
Mr. Spangler. Mrs. Wright.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
And the check register for September. Wish to recommend that the Board of Education approve the check register for September 2013 as presented in Exhibit Number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Spangler, seconded by Mr. Bonacci, roll call.
Mrs. Wright.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
That concludes my portion.
We have two cards for comments from the audience, Mr. May. Not here? Mr.
Here.
No.
My name is William May. I live at 3425 Margaret Avenue in Stowe, right next door to the Indian Trail Grade School driveway. This lot for the school driveway was purchased from Mr. Allen and Mr. Anderson back in 1968 when the school was put in. They were told this is a walking school only and that driveway that goes through there will be for walkers only. posts were put in, and everything was fine. A year or so later, they come back and says, we gotta cut these posts off and put a gate there because the fire department can't get through. Okay, cut them off, put the lockable gate in, it's open at 6 in the morning, and closed again at night at 5 o'clock. As time went on, next thing you know, the gate is open and cars are coming through. The neighbors are wondering what's going on. They were told, well, you've got to have some car traffic through here now because we changed it from a walking school to a public school like all the rest of them. So, after the cars came the buses, the semis, everything, right up Thorndale Avenue and right through the school driveway. Well, the neighbors balked at this. They said enough is enough. And they went to the school board and said, look, can't have this anymore. We're going to end up suing you here over this. We're going to have to get it locked down for good. And the agreement they come up with was 5 o'clock in the evening, this would be closed. Now, whether it's recorded in any of the school business meetings or not, this was in 1972, and I was living in the neighborhood here. I've lived there for 41 years next to the school driveway. I've seen it all. The wife and I are residents of Stow for the last 115 years. So we...
Your wife and you for 150 years.
I'm only 30.
Anyway, 5 o'clock was the agreement. On October the 4th of 2013, this covenant with the neighborhood was broken by Mr. John Lacoste, the principal of Indian Trail Grade School. He stated that when our meeting we had with him here, that the reason he's leaving this gate open till 6 o'clock at night is to accommodate the YMCA, which, in my words, they're a good group, but it's a babysitting service there for the residents who can't pick their kids up at the correct time after school and want to bring them in early. And we said, look, there's going to be a problem with this. The neighbors are not going to like this. And he said, well, too bad. And I received a letter, which I will present, and this is right here. You read the letter.
Thank you.
And that's from Mr. Lacoste, stating his reason why the gate had to be locked at 6 o'clock at night. Moved from 5 to 6. I explained to him at the time there's going to be a problem not only with the residents, but the increased traffic flow when Mahauser Chevrolet has Yukon Road vacated, and the traffic that cuts up through there now was stopped at 5 o'clock. Now, when you leave the gates open, it's going to be a real drive-through for everybody that wants to shortcut the circuit right there. And there are plenty of cars that have done this when they put that tunnel under Route 91 in the summer. Everybody backed up in the neighborhood, there were a million cars there. So, this not being a school function right here, I fail to see any reasoning in his judgment on this. So, I would ask the school board to speak with him. I'm going to go through the channels right here. It says I can't ask for a vote tonight, but you have to think about it, okay? 1 month to think about it. And then let me know what you come up with, because your yes or no on closing this gate or having it open again depends on what you say. So that's where I'm at. This is where the neighbors are at. I'm representing 3 streets right here: Hawthorne, Montador, Margaret Avenue, and Thorndale Avenue. That's my first order of business right there. The second order of business has to do with Mr. Jones here. And Mr. Jones, we have not seen eye to eye on a lot of things here, according to the school. Since the business manager was taken away from the city of Stow for the schools here, I think Mr. Jones has absorbed his job. And anytime I ask Mr. Jones to have something taken care of here, the custodians, they report it, it goes uphill, and ends with Mr. Jones. And if I can get through to him right here, then I might get an answer on it. And I have this question of the school with Mr. Jones. I have not heard a word from him about it. Only Mr. Lacoste. We have a tree behind my property. It's a huge dead tree, ready to fall over on electric lines that feed a whole row of lights right here. Very dangerous situation. You take out cars, children, everything right there in the parking lot. My requests have gone on deaf ears. I have a pile of brush as big as this circle right here, piled this high, that needs to be cleaned out. It is a haven for rats, squirrels, whatever else to crawl in there, and it's a big eyesore. I paid a lot of money to